The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Charles in Atlanta, Georgia, you're up next on the Herman Cain Show. Welcome. Charles, you there?
Oh, yeah. Hey, how you doing, Eric?
Good.
Good. You do a great job with your show. I really enjoy it. I think you're a good guy and you're hilarious.
Thanks very much.
You kind of alluded to this earlier, about 20 minutes or so ago when I actually first called. You brought up how the Dems got Hillary, and they don't have much else. I mean, Jerry Brown's being bandied about in the background now.
Moonbeam Brown, the perennial candidate.
Yeah, they're going to run Hillary, and we all know it. But you kind of alluded to this indirectly earlier, how, and I've been hearing this a lot, about how the Republicans have this really deep bench with all these potential candidates. The fact of the matter is that we don't. If I could just break down that field real quick, you've got Ben Carson, you've got Chris Christie, you've got Jeb Bush, you've got Mitt Romney. No one's really talking Sarah Palin, but maybe she'll throw her hat in the ring. Then you've got what I call the young bucks. They're our age. Actually, we're a few years older than you, but you're ahead of your years in wisdom. You're a sharp guy. You got the young bucks that are being bandied about. Bobby Jindal, Ted Cruz, and Marco Rubio. Now, you take Rubio, Cruz, and Jindal, good guys. At least Cruz, I like Cruz. He's a good guy. You got Jindal, really good guy. Rubio, I don't really think he's much of a friend of this republic, but those three do not meet the natural born citizen clause. I'm not going to argue. I know it's unpopular to say that, but they don't.
Okay, why doesn't Bobby Jindal, who was born in the United States?
Both of his parents are from India. The Constitution is clear. The Federalist Papers are clear. The Law of Nations is clear on what...
Oh, that's such bullcrap, Charles. Look, I'm not even going to give you any more airtime there if you're that stupid. I mean, Charles, look, I appreciate the flattery and praise, but that's just ignorant on your part. The natural-born citizenship clause applies to people who they themselves were born in the country, not their parents. By the way, you left off Scott Walker and Rand Paul and Rick Perry. That's just that's Charles. Look, I really appreciate you listening and your kind words, but that's just ignorance on your part. I mean, pull out the heritage copy of the Constitution and read what Ed Meese, Ronald Reagan's Attorney General, has written. The natural-born citizenship clause relates to the individual, not to their parents. In fact, the Constitution also says that children cannot be held to account for the crimes of their parents. Children are not put in position of their parents. We look for the natural-born citizenship clause. We look to what the Supreme Court has said. We look to what the founders said. We look to what the Federalist Papers said. And, in fact, we know that the founders, they put in the clause into the Constitution that said that individuals born out of the country in the first 7 and 8 years of the Republic were allowed to be considered natural-born citizens because so many of them were born abroad. And they applied that clause to the individuals, not to their parents. Thereafter, it applied to the individuals themselves. Your reading of the Constitution is completely wrong. I know there are many of you out there who believe this, but your reading of the Constitution, Charles, is actually wrong. I say this as a former lawyer. I say this as someone who studied this provision of the Constitution in law school. I say this as someone who has read the Supreme Court decisions. I say this as someone who has read Ed Meese's decisions on this. Your reading of it is wrong, Charles. And there are many like you out there who say these things, who believe these things, but you're just flat out wrong. Bobby Jindal, born in the United States of America, is a United States citizen. Marco Rubio, born in the United States, is a natural-born American citizen. Ted Cruz is the only one who plausibly is not. But then there's a long list of court precedent that shows if one of your parents is an American citizen, you're considered to be a natural-born American citizen, even if you were born in Canada, like Ted Cruz. This isn't going to be an issue. And for those of you who think it's an issue, you're trying to find silver bullets, and there are no such thing as silver bullets in politics. We'll be back.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.